Hello, everyone, and welcome to my weekly live, Wednesday live. We go live every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. So, welcome to the Wednesday Voice, Music, and Marketing Live. I go live every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, and I am streaming today to multiple platforms. So, we are streaming to IG and Facebook and YouTube. So today I'm talking about the topic 3 secrets to stop losing your voice, eliminate strain, and return to health. As you're coming on the call today, please uh, put your where you're tuning in from, what neck of the world you are tuning in from in the comments, and give me a heart or a like. Let me know that you're here. I'm a celebrity vocal coach, holistic vocal coach, Carrie Cole, artist development expert, and A&R director, and I'm the founder of carriecole.com and CCVM Label Services Company, specializing in the creative artistic side of music, voice, vocal arranging, artist development, branding, strategy, and marketing. And I'm also the founder of the Cole Vocal Method. So today, just a quick announcement before I get into the topic. So, are you working on your voice and music in 2024? Are you ready to up level? Check out our brand new shop page and nurture your music with something from the shop. If you need help with your voice, grab a set of my Singer's Gift warm ups. If you need help with your artistry, grab a seat in my Step Up 6-week Kickstart Artist Development Program that comes with immediate access. If you're further along and need help with your career, grab a seat in my Artist Sanctuary Mastermind membership. If you have vocal issues or are struggling with vocal loss, which we're going to talk about today, get my Vocal Rescue Kit, which has vocal therapy exercises and conditioning and cool downs in them. If you need my private feedback on your voice or career, grab a 30-minute vocal analysis or music review where I'll listen to your voice or music ahead of time and come to the session with feedback and ideas for you. So let's dive right into the topic. 3 secrets to stop losing your voice, eliminate strain, and return to health. And from time to time, even the best singers struggle with vocal health or run into vocal issues. It is par for the course, but really knowing how to keep the voice healthy, return to health, maintain your vocal health, and even be preventative is extremely important, right? So, we're going to talk about it today. The first thing I want to talk about is how it usually progresses, right? So it starts with some raspiness and a little bit of hoarseness. And you notice that hoarseness or raspiness is not really going away like it was. So you sing a show and you have maybe initially there is a little bit of edema. We call it edema or swelling with the vocal folds for a regular performance. That's normal. But in a healthy voice, it returns right away to normal. In a voice that is struggling with inflammation or singing on top of singing on top of singing, show after show, that inflammation can build up and then it stops going away, right? Or we have a systemic problem in the voice that is causing that inflammation, maybe through long term singing or not having the right technique, one of those aspects. There's always a reason. And, it's usually a combination of environmental and technique. Environmental meaning allergies, reflux, tension in the constrictions in the muscles, and infection or something. And then there's usually a lack of good technique. So I'm going to break those down and talk about those today. Is anybody here struggling with that? I think I need to actually look on my Instagram so that I can see, because I can't. I'm in StreamYard. Can somebody post a comment just so that I can see where I am responding to them? Because right now I'm not seeing them. So if the team could post a comment, if you guys could post a comment for me. Otherwise, I'm going to have my team post comments to me in Slack because I can't see them. Okay. Just acknowledge me on Slack. Let me know that you got my note about that. This is our first time doing it in multiple platforms, so I'm not sure where to look. Okay, so if our team could Slack me. Joelle, can you hear me? You'll have to, sorry about this, guys, Slack me the comments. I can't see them. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I know usually we have our regulars and we have our ASM members who are here and our community on Instagram. So welcome to everybody. So let me dive into breaking this down a little bit more for you because basically in a healthy voice, the swelling goes down right away. Oh, I see. Perfect. I see the comments. Great. I see that you've joined. I see the comments. Okay, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I gotcha. I gotcha. Okay. In a healthy voice, the swelling, a little bit of swelling that happens with singing goes down right away, and your voice returns to normal within an hour of the show. That's when the voice is healthy. A couple of hours, not as healthy. 3 hours, not as healthy. The next morning, if you're still hoarse, we're starting to have a buildup of inflammation and issues. Okay. So in a healthy voice, the swelling goes down within an hour. In an unhealthy voice, the inflammation lasts and accumulates from show to show and progresses into vocal problems. So it starts with hoarseness, and you know, then it starts to carry over into the next day. Then it starts to carry over in the next couple of days. Then it starts to carry over into the next week. Then it's becoming a chronic issue, right? And it can lead to vocal loss, loss of range, it can even lead to over time nodules, but don't freak yourself out because initially it's generally just the swelling and inflammation that's causing that hoarseness and voice loss. Once you do have a more specific injury, you need to be completely silent for a couple of weeks or even longer so that the rubbing goes down. That means no speaking, no talking. If anyone is having issues like that, set up a vocal health session with me, and I can take you through my entire questionnaire and protocol and see if we can get down to the bottom of what it is. This can be very helpful before seeing an ENT because I can very often figure out what it is and what you need, and if you need to go see an ENT, because a vocal scope is not inexpensive, right? But let's talk about to keep your voice free from strain and hoarseness, additional swelling from the impact of singing, and how to recover your singing voice and eliminate strain. So, and get it healthy again. And I see your comments. I see when I talk, it hurts. When I talk in a singing voice, is painless. Yes, because the way you're using your speaking voice is incorrect. So you're rubbing your cords and you're overusing your vocal muscles when you're speaking. So you could really use my vocal rescue kit, which inside has a set of vocal therapy exercises and speaking exercises to teach you how to speak correctly. And the reason why I put that in there is that many times that is the case, because we train for singing, or we sing more correctly, we're using the voice more correctly, but for speaking, we're not training for our speaking voices, so it can very easily kind of fall down into this area, and we're glottaling and we're doing all of these things that are causing inflammation all the time, and causing our voices to be raspy. That's coming just from the speaking voice. So the first step is to keep your voice free from strain and from this hoarseness or raspiness building up. The first step is to reduce inflammation. So if you do have an issue, you want to start recovering your voice with vocal therapy techniques to get your voice back and stop losing your voice. So in my vocal rescue kit, which is a part of my cold vocal method, there are vocal therapy exercises, there are conditioning exercises and cool downs, and all of those decrease the inflammation at the vocal folds and help to get the voice back. The next step is then to improve your singing technique once you're through the therapy piece of it, and vocal health, so that this doesn't continue to happen. So the right vocal technique, like my cold vocal method, will eliminate strain and return your voice to vocal health, and will be preventative in the future of your voice. Once you have a really good vocal technique that's based in vocal health, like my cold vocal method, you won't have problems, and you will be acting preventatively towards your future in securing a voice that is not going to burn out, because it has to do with the technique. Time to time, so again, as I said in the beginning, it's a combination of environmental factors and technique that are always causing the problem. So from teaching voice in New York City for 38 years, I have a lot of professional singers in my studio, and I needed solutions quickly. And from someone who has studied natural health since I was very young, I've also studied massage with a student of Ida Rolf's. I understand vocal health, and I'm also trained in vocal therapy through my method, which has vocal health baked into it. So I would very often, doctors, ENTs would send me art singers who were having trouble with their voice that they couldn't really help past the pills and steroids and things like that. So there are techniques within the vocal technique, and then also I have a full questionnaire, so you can get my vocal health quiz that is free online, to kind of give you some pointers and see where your problems lie. And then I would suggest setting up a vocal health session with me. And that comes with my vocal rescue kit, so you don't have to pay extra for that. And we can get down to the bottom of it. But let's dive into it. These are 3 of 5 tips which are on this week's blog. So sign up on carriecole.com to get my weekly blog in your inbox. I'm always talking about the subject of the blog on Wednesdays. The blog comes out on Wednesdays. I do a live, I talk about the subject, and I go over 3 of the 5 points on the blog. So if you want fuller support, go over to the blog, and you can spend some time there reading, so you're not furiously scribbling notes. It's all written out for you there. So the first thing is you want to get your voice out of your throat. So singing from throat muscles leads to early fatigue and burnout. So this is not having the correct technique. And the voice is a coordination of air and muscle, air and muscle. And I'm always, showing this teeter totter of air and muscle. Teeter totters like at the child's playground. And when you're not singing correctly, you're muscling the voice, you're squeezing the voice, you're using the muscles of the throat. You're not singing correctly. When you're singing correctly, you're not using these muscles as more. So, an example of incorrect would be, I'm grabbing the back of my neck, I'm tightening, I'm bringing my head forward. In good singing, you're singing, you're not using those muscles, right? So the first step in learning a good technique is learning how to use the correct muscles, not the wrong ones, which cause problem and injury, right? So when the voice is in the throat, the voice can sound too thin, too breathy, too strained, squeezed, pinched, throaty, raspy, and it can cause heart hoarseness. It can just be too tight or dark or heavy sounding. When the voice is more muscled or tight or tense, the singer is tightening the muscles around the vocal mechanism, within the vocal mechanism, around the neck and throat to produce sound. This is an incorrect technique that over time will burn out the voice, as the voice cannot operate well under so much pressure, and then it creates inflammation. So the first step is using good alignment, right? So we want in singing, right? And you'll notice the difference. Most people have their head slightly forward. We want our head back and tall and lengthened. So the back of the neck is lengthened and the chin is lifted. And this is the first step in alignment to getting the voice out of the throat. So really focus on lifting your chest up towards your chin, straightening your spine and lengthening your neck, and tip the chin slightly down. Start noticing if you're pulling forward even slightly on your notes. That means you're using the back of the neck, which compresses and constricts the sound and causes extra tension on the vocal mechanism, right? So the alignment is really important. The more that we take pressure off the throat, the more rich and resonant your voice will sound. Well, when you take the pressure off the throat, what is driving? Where is the support coming from, right? So one of the places that you want to support, and I talk about it a lot in my videos, and I teach it within my technique, and it is taught within the Singer's Gift vocal warm-ups and within the vocal rescue kit, but more in the Singer's Gift vocal warm-ups, because that's where I'm really in the vocal rescue kit. We're repairing, we're not building the voice. And we use a vocal rescue kit whenever your voice feels hoarse, whenever you're having vocal problems, because hoarseness and raspiness, and I saw somebody earlier here has nodules. That's not a condition that you need to live with, and that's not normal. I've helped many singers reduce their nodules. Some need surgery because they've been there for a while, because when they've been there for a while, they get more fibrous. But you don't want to live with that condition because you're always going to be struggling, and it's just a never-ending cycle of having to be silent and then singing and then having to be silent, and you know and you can be right on the tip of that and not have nodules, but be right on the tip of that inflammation, ready for that next step to happen. So we don't want that to happen, because once the nodules are there, they're harder to get rid of. And there is, really actually incredible surgery now for nodules, but you're always taking a risk, because whenever you're putting a laser to your vocal cords, something could happen, right? So it could be your life up until now, but it doesn't have to be your life anymore. And if you're serious about your singing, we need to get rid of that vocal problem, and there is a path to it. And if you start with a vocal rescue kit and then come and work with me, and I can show you immediately how to start taking the pressure off of your throat, how to sing more correctly, that will nurture and restore the vocal health and bring vocal health back to you. It's really, really important. And you don't want to have to do surgery. So, okay. So the more that you take the pressure off the throat, the more rich and resonant your voice will sound. But then where does the support come from? A lot of people think it comes from the abdomen. Where do you guys think it comes from? Just let me know in the chat. Where do you think this support from the singing voice comes from? Anybody? I know there's a delay from stream too. Um, in the meanwhile, while I'm waiting for that, diaphragm, not bad. Hey, Becca. Um, Not bad. Sort of. Bottom of the lungs, sort of. Diaphragm, sort of. Okay. This is what most people don't know. So most people are saying diaphragm, bottom of the lungs, back. People might say abdomen, stuff like that. Your posture is a big part of it. But there is an area that singers, trained singers, who are trained in a really good method, like the cold vocal method, use, that is the first place to go for the support. Okay. And that is the chest. Okay, that is the pectoral muscles. So when you see an opera singer singing, right? You will never see an opera singer singing with a drop chest, right? They're always super, super forward with the chest. Why is that? Okay. Does anybody know? Does anyone know why that chest position, that quite high chest position, is so important for the singing voice? Does anyone know? Anyone have an inkling? Mhm. There are so many things that line up correctly when the chest is raised, and it takes a minute. Okay. Allows your rib cage to be expanded, not bad. Room to expand, not bad, not bad. Okay. Correct resonance. Yes, those are all somewhat correct. But when the chest is high, you have the support of the pectoral muscles, because the pectoral muscles are the first muscles that anchor the laryngeals. So you're singing with all this power, especially if you're singing live on stage. Dr. Peek Woo, very famous ENT and surgeon here in New York, the inventor of the stroboscopy, uh, says that the impact of a 45-minute set is equal to the effect of a 2-hour game on a linebacker in football. So it's a lot of impact, right? So when the chest is lifted, the pectorals are more available to support and resist and help absorb that impact instead of it all going to the throat. Do you understand? So, and it's a little more complicated than this. And again, grab a set of the Singers Gift vocal warm-ups to really start learning the technique. That's part one of the technique. Part two is the vocal resource, is the vocal rescue kit, and part three is the master voice building exercises, which are not available in our shop. I only teach that in the Vocal Freedom Circle or in private sessions. Because it's more involved. This is a very deep method, a very deep technique that has vocal health in its base. So it's a deep technique. It's not like la 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 me me me, or throw the sound here or do this, or tuck the stomach in, like never do that. Don't do that. Like I see a lot of vocal coaches window dressing, working on the surface of the voice and the sound, but not fixing the mechanic. And this voice fixes the mechanic. And that's why you have your vocal health your entire life, because you're learning how to sing and speak correctly. Okay. But the support from the chest is and the alignment's really important. And we actually press on the chest. So you'll see in a lot of my mini voice lesson tutorials, you can see them here on IG. You can go to our playlist on YouTube and you can watch me demonstrate that the support here and the chest being high covers a lot of ground. Okay. When the chest is high, the pectorals are then activated and help to take the pressure off the throat. And then when we press here on the chest, we're pressing to take the pressure off the throat. So when we're pressing here, but we relax the throat and relax the back of the neck, and we're not tightening the abdomen because, that's the whole thing. Anyway, I'll get into that in a minute. So when we're doing that, right, and the pressure is here and the chest stays up. So in a singer, the chest never drops, doesn't drop. It doesn't lift when you breathe because you're already lifted in your position, right? So everybody just lift their chest up towards their chin, but don't arch the back. Keep the back flat. And you might feel it in between your shoulder blades because the neck muscles insert in between the shoulder blades. So it's pulling on them because it needs to stretch them. It needs to lengthen them because you're holding a more lengthened position. Over time, that'll go away. But when you are singing or breathing, the chest doesn't move. It's like a brick. It stays right there. So if I'm inhaling down. And if I'm singing, I'm not I'm ah, right? So the minute I stop dropping my chest, what happens? I'm singing from my throat. So, and I want to go into just a little bit more also with hoarseness, because the conditioning exercises pre-show for hoarse voices and post-show for everybody is extremely important, right? So the vocal muscles swell with singing. It's normal. There's a little bit of swelling. You're really using that muscle. And if you don't have good technique, you're really swelling because you're really overusing the wrong mechanics in the voice. This is really about the biomechanics of the voice. And so I'm going to answer questions in just a moment. So everybody put your questions in there. I see yours, Mark. So when somebody really has a hoarse or raspy voice, we're using conditioning exercises pre-show based on 40 years of research in biomechanics and vocal science that actually take down the swelling in the vocal folds. So they're very specific exercises. They're inside my vocal rescue kit. Go and get them. You need them. You will use them pre-show if you're hoarse. You use them post-show just to maintain your vocal health, especially if you're singing a lot, because it will take the inflammation down. And I have tons of other methods and natural remedies and things like that that also assist in that. But that's number one. That's really important. Where was I going to go? The other thing is vocal massage and certain stretches and that kind of thing, which are inside the Singer's Gift vocal warm-ups. So yeah, I'm at 12:25. Let me go to some questions. And so post your questions in the comment. Mark says, what is your opinion on the singing from the Beatles or similar artists? Are they singing decently or do they have major problems? Well, the majority of the Beatles are not alive any longer, right? So we don't know would they have vocal problems, right? But Paul McCartney doesn't have vocal problems because he does sing more correctly, right? But it's less about other singers and more about you. Are you having a problem with your voice, right? If you're having a problem with your voice, it's not normal and you're singing incorrectly. And if you want to have your voice for your career, you need to fix it, right? And there are solutions. You don't have to live with it. Anybody else have some questions? Yeah, and my technique, the thing that I love about the cold vocal method, which was handed down from my mentor's mentor, Dr. Edward Dwyer, who did 40 years of research with vocal science and biomechanics and based the technique on that. And then my mentor was an opera singer, and I'm the first in the line that's not an opera singer. But we use the mechanic. We don't use the dark sound. We use the mechanic. because it is correct singing, and it's less about whether does it sound correct, because with style you can sing however you want when you have the correct technique, right? The stronger that you are in your mechanics and that you're working correctly in your mechanics, the less injury you're going to have, right? You're going to be able to do difficult singing or, you know, tough stuff with less impact. Does that make sense? When you purchase a session, you go to carriecole.com. So go to our link tree, go over to our website, and you hit work with Carrie. And I have a little video for each session and what comes with it and how it works, right? Um, and with the vocal health session comes the vocal rescue kit. If you already have the vocal rescue kit, then let us know and we can give you a discount. But the actual session comes with that $100 program, and the full questionnaire, and it's very detailed. So I'm super into all of the details. I want to know everything. I want to know, what's gone on with your voice your entire career, because when you're dealing with fixing voices and helping singers, get back into vocal health, there's more than just technique. It's also environmental factors and the history of the voice and those things. So it's very, very thorough, how I'm working. Okay, wonderful. I see somebody here. Hi, Lisa B is on YouTube. Are you guys seeing it okay over there? This is the first time I'm streaming everywhere, so I'm not checking everywhere. Let me know. Where are you located? I'm in Manhattan. I'm in New York on 34th Street. You can find all that information in our profile. I don't do in-person sessions at the moment. Since COVID, I went completely virtual. We were already virtual. But you'd be surprised what we can do over Zoom. I mean, I've helped many singers, thousands of singers recover their voices. And just from the vocal rescue kit alone, you're going to feel relief. Yes. So, any other questions? Hey, Andre Henry. Good to see your beautiful name joining us here in your face. I've missed you. Easy Breezy says, sometimes it can be difficult and impossible to sing low notes after I've sung high notes. Is that because the larynx has moved up? Should you sing with a lower larynx always? Yes, in your technique. So it's not something that you can just manipulate and force, because when you sing higher notes, and you can't even really monitor it by looking, because when you sing higher notes, this happens. There's a tip down. So the front will go up as the back goes down. So you can't really monitor it by what you're looking. But in my technique, the specific exercises and mechanical exercises create that condition for there to be a deeper bed that you're then rehearsing daily. And then the voice is able to maintain it and create what we call the deeper bed, or laryngeal resistance, or laryngeal compression, which is a natural thing, because we don't want to, we don't want to fake it, right? We don't want to try to push it down, because that doesn't work. The voice needs to operate within a freer environment. So we have to rehearse these movements so that they become natural inside the body. Yes, virtual, virtual, virtual. I work with artists all over the world, and come and do a session with me. And we have 4 sales a year, and from 30 to 50% off of the private sessions. And what else do I want to tell you? This technique is killer. I mean, I've been using it for over 40 years. And I started when I was very young, and I've been teaching it now for 38 years. And it is a master vocal technique. And we don't manipulate sound. We don't do what a lot of other techniques do, which is window dressing, which is manipulating the sound on the surface, which might sound good initially, but it's not addressing the mechanics, and therefore the singer is still vulnerable to vocal problems. In this technique, we fix from the ground up. We fix the mechanics, and then your style, you can sing however you want. And the stronger you are and the better your mechanics, the more choices in your style that you have, right? Um, yes, Loretta, recovering. I'm just going to take a few more questions. You're most welcome. Recovering from a cold and lost your voice a bit. Is there any vocal therapy tips I can do to recover in a healthy way? Yes, and we do have that problem today, right? With these weird, whatever they are. Some people say viruses, some people say viruses don't exist. Whatever the heck it is attacking singers. Okay. So, yes, there is on my Instagram, Laredo, I'll go and tag you on something, Lorado. I'll go and tag you on something. I do have a protocol for respiratory to avoid it in the first place and then to recover quicker. I use more innovative methods because they work. So I have more things that aren't so typical, right? It's not like just sucking on a lozenge or having tea with honey, right? There are innovative methods that will recover your voice very, very quickly. But it's best to have a private session. If anybody is having financial issues, and they can't afford the full hour, then sign up for the vocal analysis session, which is a 30-minute session, which is half the price of the hour. It won't come with a vocal rescue kit, but we will address all the vocal issues. So even if you're not really looking for an analysis, let's say, but you have vocal issues and you need that kind of analysis or you need my help, come and do that. Do I have any knowledge in regards to combining subtle subharmonics with clean vocals? Um, yeah, not sure what you mean. Are you talking about throat singing or so in singing, when you have a really good technique, there are overtones. So you're talking about subharmonics, which is like bass notes, tones within your voice. That has to do with resonance, right? So the freer your voice is in its mechanical setting, the easier it is for all those overtones and harmonics to ring. And it's based on the overtone series, if that makes sense. Um, yeah, Freddie Mercury had resonance. It's just a resonant sound because he had a better mechanical, he sang more correctly, which is why he could sing those things. Using the false vocal folds. Yeah, I'm not into that stuff as much. Yeah, I'm into just I'm not into manipulating so much. To me, Freddie Mercury was more about having a resonant voice. So I don't really come from that world because when you have a rich, resonant, resilient voice, you can do anything. You can really create a lot of sound coming from your voice. hmm Okay, beautiful. Well, yes, my rate's online. Everything is there. carriecole.com/work with Carrie. And just go to my website. You'll see everything. I have a video for every single session so you can see what it comes with, what's in it. I'm very, very, very extremely thorough because I'm after results for you. And those of you that just want to get a start with my Singer's Gift warm-ups. If you have vocal issues, though, if you have problems with your voice, like actual problems, start with the vocal rescue kit. And thank you so much for joining me today. It's always a pleasure. I go live every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, now streaming on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So thank you so much. Have a wildly creative week and a vocally healthy week. And I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.